Jason Brown.
Hi,
Hi.
Evie. How are you?
Good. I'm very excited about this call, but I do have to say, you know that I aim to combine the personal and the professional in this podcast and get to know my guests on both
Sure.
levels. But we have so much to cover that with you, I think, though, as Chief Revenue Officer of Spectrum Reach, I'm just going to have to focus on the professional. Is that
That's
okay?
fine. I can go any way you want to go. I like your apartment, by the way.
Okay.
Upper West Side, right?
Upper West Side, outside of Central
Nice.
Park, and not too far from where those tall buildings are
That's
behind
right.
you.
We're on,
Are you
yep, we're on the
Midtown?
West Side too.
Okay, good. I'll pop down for coffee
Sounds good.
sometime. Hey, it's Evie Moss, and all kidding aside, in terms of personal versus professional about Jason Brown, yes, in this episode 32 of Insider Interviews kicking off 2025, you'll definitely learn some interesting things about Jason's dad. But really, there's a lot to learn from Jason professionally. I think most people will know him or of him since before becoming CRO at Spectrum Reach, he headed up sales in places and platforms like GSTV and DirecTV, even cinema advertising with Screen Vision. Oh, and he started out by launching and scaling networks like MSNBC and BBC America. So everybody, buckle your seatbelts, because we're going to go from the top line of everything advertising to the bottom line of what's current in the ad industry, or what Spectrum Reach has coined as a phrase, our industry chaos, and how advertisers can simplify and streamline advertising and all other kinds of things. Here's Jason. So, Jason, what's the top line? Give us the 30-story elevator pitch on Spectrum Reach.
Sure. Well, Spectrum Reach, you know us as probably the advertising department of Charter Communications. So Charter, our parent company, you might know us for connectivity. So we're a broadband company, internet, mobile, video services, voice. We operate in 41 states. Spectrum Reach as the advertising department. We have a very large footprint. We have kind of 91 very large markets in our footprint. We have over 30 million households, and most of our endpoints are addressable. The inventory we have is Spectrum TV app, which is the fourth largest ad-supported app in the country, largest in our footprint. And you can buy us any way you want: local, regional, national, managed service, programmatic.
And you are the person to help people figure out how they want to buy you and what to do with it.
Our team, we have a very large team. We have 182 offices, and we know our backyard. Like, it's very common for, our sellers to have been born in market, grew up in market. They know all the local businesses, and they're trusted. And we have thousands of them, all in markets, really helping our customers move product. We're very focused on driving outcomes for our advertisers.
And I know that hyper-local and local is a big thing, and we're going to talk a little bit about how you've transitioned from a national footprint to adding that local focus too. I know that that's very important to you. But I want to also talk about your mission statement, because you are here in the now, and you say that you're built for what's now and what's next.
Right.
So what is next?
Yeah. So, for us, it's a bunch of things, or for our clients, it's a bunch of things. So the way to look at us is 23,000 advertisers. Those are local, regional, and national. We're very foundational in those 91 markets, in our footprint. And we have the large majority of those advertisers working with us because we're driving outcome for them. And we have a very scalable product in market. So the foundation started with TV, but it's grown to streaming. A lot of people don't know this, but in 2009, we launched our cable replacement app, our streaming app, which is, live news and sports. It's now the fourth largest in the US. It's the largest in our footprint. from an ad-supported level. It has a ton of capacity and inventory, but we're foundational in our market. So what's next is building on that foundation. So we've already begun that journey. We represent a lot of high quality premium inventory above our owned and operated inventory. So DirecTV Stream, Dish and Sling, those have been part of our markets. We just announced a game-changing relationship with Amazon Ads, where we're now a local reseller. So what's next is just aggregating the local marketplace with high quality, underlying quality, premium inventory that you can target and that's transparent on the back end, and you can trust the inventory that the exposure is going to happen. So building out the aperture of that inventory locally in each one of our markets. Now we just continue to add that on. We look for unique distribution so we can provide unique reach. So that's certainly something that is next and continues to evolve, because it's not like it's happening overnight. We've been doing this for a while.
Yeah. And you personally have been doing this for a while, with your background at Screen Vision and as I said, GSTV, you've also worked across a lot of different media platforms. And we're bullish on fast channel and streaming, but linear still has a big hand in things. Is that right?
Yeah, certainly. You just have to, over 50% of the inventory that we have is still linear inventory and very foundational. But our streaming inventory, like I said, is huge and growing significantly and adds unique reach. Like, go back to Amazon. Amazon in our local markets adds, on average, 20% unique reach to each market. So in a market like Raleigh-Durham, as an example, we were, before January 29th of this year, about 52% of all the video impressions in the Raleigh-Durham market. Now we're 72%, just by adding.
That's with the addition.
Because Amazon Prime did something amazing, right? On January 29th of this past year, they flipped the switch on a customer base of over 100 million US customers that had Amazon Prime, but it was not ad supported. And they flipped the switch and became ad supported and became huge in an instant. So being a local reseller for Amazon is a game changer. We can do all the things that we do normally for our advertisers, which is advanced targeting, showing reach and frequency, and we can do that on a larger footprint. So that I'm very bullish on.
That's really cool. And I know that is really important in the marketplace today now, and having that scale is key. But there are a lot of moving parts in the industry, and you guys have kind of famously coined that chaos, but you've also planted a stake in the ground that you can harness that chaos, and you kind of made that a claim. What does that mean? Discuss.
Yeah, we have a lot of tools here at Spectrum Reach. We have basically end-to-end systems, from planning to decisioning to executing the campaign to providing attribution on the back end and reporting, all in a transparent manner. We have this kind of criteria set when we bring in inventory, that it has to be high quality premium inventory, it has to have high completion rates, it has to provide transparency on the back end. You got to be able to target and measure. So all those types of things behind the scenes we take care of. We harness the chaos of bringing in all these different types of inventory that all kind of follow that criteria set into one cohesive buy from end to end. So from an advertising perspective, we're providing simplicity from one buy from a trusted source. Everything we do is tag certified. It's because we sit on an identity layer of households, name and address in a very privacy compliant manner. We're able to provide a very high match rate against a known entity. It's just like a lot of the things that you don't need to worry about you don't want to worry about as an advertiser. We'll take care of it. And then that's just on the advertising side. I'm really proud of Charter. Our parent company is also, I would say, harnessing the chaos of just trying to figure out what to watch. The average, we're all guilty of this, right? Or if we're all experienced this, we spend, I think the average time is 10 and a half minutes trying to find a show. And our company Charter, along with Comcast, acquired Xumo for the operating system a couple of years back. And what
Uh-huh.
Xumo does is aggregate the best of linear streaming, from Spectrum TV app, with the best AVOD and SVOD, and into one unified experience. So, navigation to program is much easier. It creates a lot of, I guess, less arguments in the household. But we're creating a more, kind of a better user experience as well. Kind of goes hand in hand with the customer experience and the advertising experience.
That makes sense. And then you work with a lot of different partners as well on both fronts, the advertiser and the consumer side, to facilitate everything. And then you're connecting the dots. If we go back to the advertising side for a
Mm-hmm.
second, measurement is another area of chaos. What the heck are you doing to help us there?
Well, I think there's a lot of responsibility on the marketer and the agency here, but you want to work with an experienced partner. You want to work with a partner that has high fidelity data and that can measure with a high level of effectiveness and accuracy. And back to the known identity, because we have billing relationships, because we have household identity, you're really able
Uh-huh.
to kind of have an insurance policy that you're going to, one, match an advanced segment against our audience with a high percentage. Our match rates are over 95%. And that is unheard of in marketing, unless you're a distributor. But distributors have those high match rates. It's important to understand that. It can get overlooked. Again, everything we do when we match is privacy compliant and deduplicated, but you've got to start with a scenario where it's not garbage in, garbage out. And there's a lot of garbage in, garbage out when it comes to just setting up a campaign because your match rates aren't there. With us, the match rates are high. And then we have the technology to address them at the household level and device level. So now you can target, again, aggregated and deduplicated, but you can target with a high level of accuracy and fidelity. And then all the reporting and tools on the back end can show the lift and show you the outcomes against that particular targeting strand. So that's why, in terms of like providing measurement and accuracy, you can trust us because we have those capabilities, and not everybody has those capabilities.
Okay, so you're like the big pipe into the home, and I think you've called it whole home reach because there are people using a lot of different devices, even in one home. How does that connect to measurement? How is that a service to the advertiser, let alone the consumer?
Yeah, no, I think that's another kind of very unique capability of a distributor, especially a distributor that has multiple touch points, multiple devices in the home. Our company offers connectivity, broadband and mobile and video services. These are all separate, or can be separate devices. A typical house
Mhm.
will have like 3 TVs now, and then they'll have phones connected to the home. So the one of the things about that's kind of new, that's upcoming, that you want to keep an eye on out is whole home reach. Right now in the advertising community, there's a lot of products that extend reach, and they'll take credit if the household was reached with one exposure on one device. Okay, that extends reach. But what if it was 3 devices, 5 exposures, multiple people in the household? Isn't that more of an effective campaign? And that is,
I'd say
yes.
yes.
And that's why I think a lot of the distributors have this great opportunity moving forward, what we call whole home reach.
You're so good at explaining this also. And you do a great job of explaining things to your prospective advertisers as well. Everything from you've got your little bot on spectrumreach.com named Riley, who answered specific questions without requiring me to send him my email. You've got the Ad Academy, which I freaking
Yeah,
love. You built an entire course structure. Talk about how you support local advertisers and how you're educating some of your prospects, because that's part of harnessing the chaos also, isn't it?
100%. It goes back to having kind of that relationship in your backyard, just the years and years of trust with your local advertisers and building and learning and building and learning and building and learning. So we're at a point now where, didn't happen overnight, but we provide all these types of tools to a local advertiser. They might not have like huge budgets to spend like a national advertiser. Every single dollar counts. And they are graded on how many people walk in the door. It's got to work. We have, like I said, 23,000 advertisers, and we've had them for a while, and we have these trusted relationships because it works. So we build tools for them. We have everything from creative resources that are either AI driven, that can build an ad for them in 90 seconds, or professional production through our kernel group that can start with a brief and build an actual campaign for them, product campaign. A lot of our local advertisers are very sophisticated. A lot of them have first-party data. A lot of the tier 3 dealerships have a lot of first-party data. So we do a lot of matching, privacy compliant, and moving towards the prospects in that particular market are going to have the highest opportunity to convert. And then everything we do on the back end, we prove it out. We show test and control attribution to show what type of lift we had on did they walk into the door. So we are accountable. We're their partner, and it's a relationship that is built on results and trust.
Okay. Now, I've heard a word that I don't really understand, optionality. Is it related to that?
Yeah. What we mean by it is you can transact with us in a managed service way. So just, kind of a traditional IO, or you can transact with us programmatically. We have a self-service tool, that ad portal, that you can also transact with us. I think our secret sauce, though, is really that no matter how you want to transact with us, there's a relationship with that client. Even a lot of these self-service tools that are out there today, they don't really come with a relationship. Ours does. We call them assisted service tools, with our products, because you're going to get somebody to help you. If you want to buy it programmatically through us, it'll help you create a campaign, really service the campaign, show the results. Our differentiator is our products and our people.
Well, I like the people I'm talking to now.
I like you too, Evie.
Thank you. So, all right. So I conflated things. So optionality is how you want to buy, but then there are KPIs of what you want your buy to accomplish. And that's what you were talking about, where it might be foot traffic or something like that. And you can super serve based on almost any KPI, I guess, with all of this whole home and optionality and all of that. Yeah.
100%. What's foundational for us is you're going to get a report to show reach against your target. But we could go much deeper than that. We do for a lot of clients, which is not only did we reach them, what did they do? Did they go to their website? We can show that they did. These types of things we're known for, both at the national level, regional level, and local level, because of the tools we have, the addressability that we have, the data that we have, and the sales organization that can help them.
So there's a lot on your plate, and I'm wondering what you're thinking about for this coming 2025. News itself has been newsworthy. I know that Spectrum News is kind of a bright, shining star. We need local news more than ever. I look at things like, by the time this is published, TikTok might be a goner. I don't know if that's going to offer you more revenue in a way, but what are you thinking about where advertising or local advertising or any of the above is heading?
Yeah, I'm very bullish on local. I'm very bullish on the addressable capability going from what started to be national into local. I am bullish on news. We have a lot of data that shows that news, and especially for our customer base, is the highest local news. And Spectrum News specifically is watched at a much higher level than any other network. And it's because it provides you with a connection to your community beyond, sports and beyond traffic. It really is like what's happening in your local community. It's very much watched every morning. If you look at some of the, kind of the usage levels of our Spectrum News app or Spectrum linear service, it's important for our customer base. We can directly track it to loyalty too. Spectrum customers churn way less when they are watching a lot of our news. And our news is not polarizing at all. Brands like to connect with that, because it's part of the community. Mm-hmm. So we do get a lot of local advertisers. So yes, news is important. And then two, as I said before, the movement of buying local, maybe in just a geography for reach, but also buying meaningful reach against a specific target through addressability is growing significantly.
I, for one, am a fan of my Spectrum News, and I'm very sad that one of my favorite anchors is retiring, who I've been watching for a million years. So, that also goes back to the relationship, and that goes into trust. What are you hearing about brand suitability and brands wanting to be in content where it's not controversial at all? I mean, news has sort of suffered from that in general, but there's other programming where there are keywords that you have to stay away from. How do you manage contextual and all of that brand suitability mishmash, that chaos?
Yeah, look, I think there's a responsibility here on the agency side and the client side, and also us. From our point of view, it's really to educate that there are news sources, again, that are non-polarizing. Like there's unbiased news, and that's us. It's really, really brand safe, and it has extremely high levels of engagement because you feel part of the community. Everything you said. And unfortunately, what happens too often is just take news off the buy. Any news, because it gets bundled in with the services that are polarizing, that are showing questionable content, and so it's education across the board, is what I'm saying. There's a lot of work that ANA is doing, but we need to just take a little time and think about. Not just bucking it all together, and to really take an objective view, and then maybe just segment news in different categories. And then, I think we'll see more adoption.
Well, Jason, I am picking up what you're throwing down. I mean, we talk about relationships, and I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I've seen you through many incarnations, as you've seen me through them. But something that I learned about you that I will just share, your father produced a Cheech and Chong movie?
He produced most of them. He didn't produce, I think he produced half of Up in Smoke, which was the first one. He came, or somehow.
This explains so much about you.
Yeah, well, first of all, I don't partake in any of that stuff, but okay. I had a pretty unorthodox. Well, my dad was a great man. He passed, but he produced most of the Cheech and Chong movies. He produced a program on ABC, Family Martinez. What I'm most proud about my dad is he kind of ended his career doing what he started his career doing, which is the thing he loved the most, which is working with inner city gangs. So he went back to college, went to USC to get his master's in social work, and then worked in inner city Los Angeles, downtown, working with gangs and trying to help primarily young men at the time just progress out of something that was very troublesome.
I'm seeing several through lines there. Of course, the first is Apple, Tree, media. We're both children of media people, yours in particular, television. But what's also interesting, and I love that you added that point about your dad, is he kind of harnessed the chaos as well.
Yeah, in his own way. Sure. Yeah.
And I'll bring it back to business, as I threatened in the beginning, because something else that I really love is your Pay It Forward program. I know it started a few years ago, but it basically, if I understand it correctly, supports like multicultural small businesses and gives them free advertising and marketing resources. So I mean, your dad would be thrilled that you have that as part of your corporate social responsibility. Do you want to give it better words than I just
No, you're
did?
right. This is a program called Pay It Forward. Not my idea. I came into the company 2 years ago, but I love jumping into it. What we do
Mm-hmm.
is, again, we are so community focused. Our company is so community focused and very local focused. We want local communities to win. We want new businesses to win, and we're going to invest in them. And so we do. We give each of our Pay It Forward customers a free $15,000 of media placement. We provide and we produce a 30-second commercial for them to run across both linear and streaming. We provide business services. We really want to help them get started. And by the way, I've been doing this for years. A lot of I love seeing those advertisers that kind of started that way that are now, paying for advertising because it works, because it helped build their business, and they're thriving. And it warms your heart to do stuff like that. And we've been doing it for a while.
Love. Um, and let's continue on in growing things up. You have like a hundreds and hundreds of people in your sales organization, as you said. Any tips on leadership, your philosophy for developing talent in this chaotic industry? What would you advise?
Well, we have thousands of sellers, 182 offices. And honestly, EB, this is relatively new for me. So I'm kind of learning. But in what have I learned in 2 years? You have to rely on a lot of video communication, but it's also important to be in market. And so I'm not saying I'm perfect yet, but I'm kind of really getting in my groove on how much I need to be in market, talking to customers and talking to our own sellers to get customer feedback, to bring back to sales and product
Yeah.
and other departments here. And then how much do I lead here in the office? And so it's kind of that balance of in market and leading through video. You learn a lot about best practices. The biggest trick is like if you learn something in a market, how do you get that particular best practice to happen in all 182 offices? And
Scale
so
it.
it's a lot of video stuff, and it's been lifting up those that are being successful in the organization and giving them a voice. This company does a really good job communicating through video because of the fact that we're just spread out everywhere with so many folks that it's important we do that.
I'll give myself and others two plugs based on that. A previous episode that is with one of my favorite people, Jarl Moan, formerly known as Lee Masters, one of the originators of MTV Networks. And he was my founding CEO when I worked at E! Entertainment Television. I hope that people will also listen to that episode from about a year ago because he talked about how when he joined NPR, he went market to market to market and literally did a road trip. So one of my favorite people is being emulated by another favorite, you.
Thank you.
I love
I'm going to
that.
watch that.
And I also, I really like your CMO,
He's
Michael
the
Guth.
best. Yeah.
And I posted a photo of myself on Instagram when I met him coincidentally at your Amazon Ads announcement event. And I think I'm looking up at him admiringly. So you got a good team
Absolutely.
there. And I think that you're a good addition. So I'll wind it up with one last question. What's your favorite TV show and what do you watch it on?
Yeah, my favorite TV show of all time is Breaking Bad. I just haven't watched it in a while, but I love
Oh,
that show. I watch a lot of football. This weekend was all football, college, NFL. I just finished Tulsa King.
oh,
Stallone.
Stallone.
It was okay, but it's Stallone.
Okay.
I think he's doing another season, so I'll check out season 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, EB? What are you watching?
Oh, Lord, I am all about any British detective
Yeah.
mystery kind of series that I can get my hands on. And I love the fact that I can go through, there's 13 seasons of
Yeah.
Vera
Yeah.
and 18 seasons of Poirot. I'm in every single one of
That's
them. So love that.
that's great.
But, on the linear side, if
Yeah.
you will, although it's available everywhere, two favorite shows. I think they're both on CBS. I'll give them a plug. Love
Uh-huh.
Ghosts, which is, I think, one of the just more pleasant half-hour sitcoms. It originated as a British
Mhm.
show. Um, and Matlock.
Yeah. Yeah, with
Yeah.
Kathy
Love.
Bates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So, all right. On that note, it's going to take me less than 10.1 minutes now to go find a good show, thanks to
Yeah,
you.
good. That's right. Go get a Xumo stream box. You'll be all set.
Yeah, okay. Jason Brown, such a pleasure to chat with you personally, but mostly professionally. Look forward to seeing you around.
Thank you, EB.
Well, I hope you got some good insider scoop from this episode of Insider Interviews with me, E.B. Moss. If you enjoyed this content, please feel free to buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/mossappeal. If I can help you with your company's podcast, please find me at mossappeal.com. And I hope you'll follow Insider Interviews on social media and let me know if you have a question or a suggestion for a next stellar guest in media, marketing, and advertising. Speaking of stellar, my theme music was composed and performed by the incomparable Grammy-winning John Clayton. Thanks again for listening.